Key point review. An agent is hired by principals to act on their behalf. Agency is the fiduciary relationship in which the agent is held in a position of special trust and confidence by the principal. The client is the principal. The customer is the non-represented party for whom some level of service is provided and who is entitled to fairness, honesty, and disclosure of material facts. Real estate agency relationships are governed by common law, which is established by tradition and court decisions, and statutory law enacted by the General Assembly and rules promulgated by regulatory agencies such as the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. The universal agent is empowered to do anything the principal could do personally. A general agent represents the principal in a broad range of matters. A special agent represents the principal in one specific act or business transaction only, under detailed instruction. Real estate brokers are typically special agents. Creation of agency may be accomplished by a written listing or property management agreement with a property owner, a written or oral buyer agency agreement, a tenant representation agreement, or a dual agency agreement. Agency relationships encompass the following. Express agency is based on a formal agreement between the parties. Implied agency results from the behavior of the parties. The compensation source does not determine agency because the agent may be compensated by someone other than agent's client. An agency can exist even if no compensation is involved. Gratuitous agency. Termination of agency may be accomplished by the completion, performance, or fulfillment of purpose of agency, destruction or condemnation of the property, expiration of the terms of the agency, mutual agreement of all parties to the contract, breach by one of the parties, who may be liable for damages, and operation of law, as in the bankruptcy of the principal. A single agency is one in which an agent, firm represents only one party in a transaction. A buyer's broker represents a buyer as an agent to find property that meets the buyer's specifications, as set out in the buyer agency agreement. A subagent is the agent of an agent. A dual agency is one in which an agent, firm represents two principals in the same transaction. A designated agent is authorized by the broker to act as the exclusive agent of a specific principal in a dual agency situation. Non-agency relationships where the broker acts as a facilitator or transaction broker is not permitted in North Carolina. Disclosure by real estate brokers of agency relationship is required in every state. NCREC's Working with Real Estate Agents brochure does not create agency, only proof of disclosure of agency relationships, and a broker must review all agency options with consumer no later than first substantial contact. Request signature of consumer on acknowledgement panel. An agent has a fiduciary relationship of trust and confidence with the principal. Transactions should be arm's length with no self-dealing by the agents. The 6 common law fiduciary duties can be remembered as old CAR, which is an acronym for the following. 1. Obedience. An agent must act in good faith at all times, with obedience toward the principal's instructions that are legal and ethical. 2. Loyalty. An agent must place the principal's interests above those of all others, including the agent's own interests. 3. Disclosure. An agent is duty-bound to inform the principal of any information concerning the transaction that might reasonably influence the principal's decision, particularly those mandated by state law. 4. Confidentiality. An agent must keep the principal's price, terms, and motivation confidential at all times. 5. Accounting. An agent must be able to report the status of all funds received from or on behalf of the principal. 6. Reasonable skill and care. An agent must exercise a reasonable degree of care. Duty to third parties. Comply with license law and NCREC's rules and to be fair and honest, including disclosure of material facts, which include facts about the property itself, facts relating directly to the property, fact relating directly to ability of parties to complete the transaction, facts of special importance to the party. Statements to clients and customers should be clearly identified as opinion or fact. Note the following distinctions. Puffing is legal exaggeration of a property's benefits. Fraud is the intentional or willful misrepresentation or omission of immaterial fact to harm or take advantage of another person. Negligent misrepresentation occurs when a broker should have known that a statement about a material fact was false. Willful misrepresentation occurs when the broker knowingly makes a false statement. Negligent omission occurs when a broker did not disclose a material fact that the broker should have known. Willful omission occurs when the broker deliberately withholds relevant information. Stigmatized properties are seen as undesirable due to events, not the condition of the property. Death or serious illness of an owner or occupant of a property, or the presence of a sexual offender in the area does not constitute a material fact that must be disclosed by brokers in North Carolina. Brokers have a duty to discover and disclose material facts to consumers, regardless of the party they represent. A broker employer is liable for the actions of the provisional broker within the scope of the employment agreement. A real estate broker who is an independent contractor usually receives a commission, with no withholding for Social Security, income tax, and other purposes, has the freedom to set hours and accomplish goals, does not relieve the broker of liability for related work activities of the broker, and must comply with IRS requirements for a qualified real estate agent. A broker who is an employee may receive salary in lieu of or in addition to commission, may receive benefits, such as health insurance, profit sharing, and workers' compensation, has a broker who is required to withhold Social Security, income taxes, and other applicable federal and state taxes from earnings of the broker, has a broker in charge who sets hours, duties, and other specifics of day-to-day work, and has a broker in charge who has liability for related work activities of the broker.